A lot of people's problems arise because they don't take responsibility for their actions. For instance, people who are addicted to drugs, they don't take responsibility for their addictions, they don't take responsibility for their actions, but they blame past events or their environment or anybody and everything but themselves. And unless they take responsibility for their actions, that's really where when they start taking responsibility for their own lives and for their own actions, that's when they can start to adjust the problem. But for example, then the thinking of society directly correlates to the thinking of the average individual. So, for instance, like society, then when they have a drug problem in society, they blame the drug dealers. When really the drug dealers are not at fault; they're only supplying to a market. The same as people who supply coffee, the same as people who supply tobacco. They're only supplying a demand. And it's a demand that's created by a lack of self-control. And really, like, the same people who have drug addictions, the root of the problem is a lack of self-control. It's not the drugs that are at fault, because the drugs do nothing. But it's the lack of people's self-control that is the cause of the problem. And then, in the same way as the society blames the drug dealers for the drug problem, when it's not the drug dealer's fault but the drug addict's fault because they have a lack of self-control, the countries then blame other countries for their problems. For example, America imposing sanctions on Colombia and Peru because of what they perceive as a drug problem. So they then impose sanctions on Peru for growing coca leaf. Indigenous people who've grown coca leaves for thousands of years, but just because America can't control themselves, and because the people in America can't control themselves, they want to impose sanctions on Peru and enslave them. And for instance, in Colombia, then they want to get them to grow flowers and enslave the people, make them dependent on America, but supporting their hedonistic lifestyle. So they give them flowers to grow, but yet they dictate the market. They own the Colombians. They end up owning the Colombians and enslaving them. Because they dictate the terms, the price, everything, but give them barely enough. They control the market. So they keep the profits in America and barely give the Colombians enough to live on. So they control the market. But it's slave labour. And really, like, the whole issue is the fact that the Americans have a lack of self-control, and this is the problem. It's not Peru's problem. It's not them growing the coca leaf is not a problem. They have no problem at all. They've been growing coca leaves for thousands of years, and they are addicted. It's a spiritual plan to use it for to go about their daily lives, to work and to live on. And they don't have a problem with the coca leaf. The only people who have a problem is America. But they're making it Peru's problem, if you know what I mean, by imposing sanctions on them and flying overhead and trying to give them different industry that's beneficial for America. Trying to enslave them. So I think for my next industry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over east and look at starting a Coca plantation. And I think if the West want to address their drug problem, what they should do is maybe take a leaf out of the Philippines book and start shooting the drug addicts, because that has proven to be extremely effective. A lot more effective than trying to impose sanctions and trying to tell people how they should live. If they perceive to have a drug problem, as Philippines did, start shooting the drug addicts, because this has proven to be extremely effective and is working quite well for the Philippines. But I think what needs to be done is rather than asking for control, asking for America, what can we do? How can we do? I think I'm going to go over east and start growing coca and start applying Colonel Gaddafi's philosophy, not allowing the West to come and rape and pillage, but start taking control, start doing what China do, saying we'll determine what we sell to the West, not the West determine what we are to do, but go over east and start teaching the people in the east. If you want teach them how to fish, not just give them fish, not make them dependent on the West. By the West determining what they grow and what they won't grow. But go over east and teach them how to fish. Teach them that we'll determine what we sell to West, and teach them to be self-sufficient, because that's what the first must learn in order to get out of this slavery. Is teach them first how to be self-sufficient, how to grow an industry within themselves. Grow their own crops, grow what's beneficial for them, and learn to internalize their happiness, if you know what I mean, and then determine, once they've internalized their own happiness and become self-sufficient, then determine what they'll sell to the West, and take control of their own lives, take responsibility for their lives as a collective, as I'm encouraging individuals to do. Take responsibility for their lives. As I say, what applies for the individual applies as a collective as well. So I think that's what needs to be done over east, is take responsibility for their lives, like Gaddafi was doing. Apply Gaddafi's philosophy, and they determined that they get a share of the profit, and not allow themselves to be raped. Yeah, that's for today's video. Talk to you maybe tomorrow.